everybody. Daniel Feuerstein here for Beyond the 90. Going to talk to you about the CONCACAF Champions Cup quarterfinals as both legs are done. They are in the books. We're going to have an all MLS semifinal and an all Liga MX final. First things first, we're going to talk about both legs in all four quarterfinal matches. First, between the LA Galaxy and Tigres. Now, the Galaxy and Tigres in their first leg was a scoreless affair over at the Dignity Health Sports Stadium. But when you travel down to Mexico, well, we all know it's basically done and dusted, as Tigres got two early goals within a span of 2 minutes in the 9th and 10th minute. And then, of course, on a mistake, the LA Galaxy made it 2-1. And then in the second half, it was a third goal from Tigres. Even though the Galaxy did score a second one to make it 3-2, they needed one more away goal in that second leg matchup to put at least some fear into Tigres, but it just did not come to fruition. And finally, Tigres eliminates the Los Angeles Galaxy by a final of 3-2 in aggregate and in the second leg after a 0-0 result in the first leg. Of course, another match that had a 0-0 result in the first leg was between Cruz Azul and Club America. And when the match went to the home of Cruz Azul, well, that was a hard-fought contest in both legs. But in the second leg, Cruz Azul, they got the opening goal in the first half. In the start around the second half, Club America gets a goal to make it 1-1 with the away goals rule, and they had the advantage until late in the second half. Cruz Azul gets that second goal to make it 2-1 on aggregate, and they advanced with the victory in the second leg, 2-1, of course, after a scoreless draw in the first leg. And just recently, of course, LAFC taking on Inter Miami over at BMO Stadium in downtown Los Angeles. They only needed one goal to win the first leg. And then they came to Chase Stadium in Fort Lauderdale. They did score early to make it 2-0 on aggregate, 1-0 in the match, and 1-0 on away goals. So they had an advantage on Inter Miami. But with Messi and company, you got to make sure that that advantage stays to your back pocket. Because why? Because Inter Miami came back with 3 goals. Messi leveled the score all at ones in the first half. And then Inter Miami gets a second goal to make it 2-2 on aggregate, 2-1 lead in the match for the second leg. But they needed to score 3. You had to score 3 goals to take away the away goals rule advantage from LAFC, and Inter Miami did that. Messi gets a penalty. He converted that penalty, and that made it 3-2 Inter Miami over LAFC. So they advanced to the semifinals. And then you have the Vancouver Whitecaps taking on Pumas in the quarterfinals. A 1-1 draw in the first leg. That was advantage for Pumas as they got the away goal, and that made it 1-0 in favor of Pumas after the 1-1 draw at BC Place in Vancouver. And then, all of a sudden, Vancouver goes down to Mexico to take on Pumas, and then it would be the son of Greg Berhalter, Greg Berhalter's son. He made it 1-0 in the second leg, and that took away the advantage of the away goals from Pumas, and they took advantage at the aggregate 2-1. Pumas, however, scored to make it 2-2 on aggregate, 1-1 in the second leg, still even on away goals. And that meant if the score remained even in all facets, there would have been extra time. But Pumas did score to make it 2-1 on the match, 3-2 on the aggregate, and away goals was not a factor. But then we get into second half stoppage time, and all of a sudden, Vancouver, late, Tristan Blackman, he nails a huge second goal to make it 2-2 on the night. 3-3 on aggregate, but the second away goal advantage for the Vancouver Whitecaps, and they advance to the semifinals, and that made it 2-1 on away goals. And so the semifinals are set. An all MLS semifinal as Inter Miami will take on the Vancouver Whitecaps, and an all Liga MX semifinals as Cruz Azul will take on Tigres. And that means it will be an MLS versus Liga MX final, depending on who will host that final, or will it go to an away and neutral area. Now, you have to say that Vancouver Whitecaps, they have played amazingly with this Champions Cup run, and they've gotten all the way to the semifinals. And they have never beaten a Liga MX side internationally until now. So for them, this is a brand new territory for them, brand new territory for Canadian soccer, and we will see what they will do against Inter Miami as they will represent the United States in U.S. soccer, and we'll see what goes on when we get there in the semifinals. But once again, we're going to have an amazing semifinals as Cruz Azul will face Tigres in 2 legs. Inter Miami will take on Vancouver Whitecaps also in 2 legs. And we'll have that all MLS versus Liga MX final. Should be exciting. It should be a lot of fun. Don't forget to join us here at Beyond the 90 to read our articles from Carter Krishnaiyer, myself, Alex Ashton, Jonathan Starling, Rooster Navillan, Brett Molnix, and the many other writers that we have here at Beyond the 90, talking about everything that goes on in American soccer in the lower levels, in the USL, NISA, NPSL, the League for Clubs, and so on. Don't forget as well, CONCACAF events like the Champions Cup we just discussed, CONCACAF Gold Cup that's coming up this summer, CONCACAF Nations League that just passed, and don't forget the US Open Cup as well. You can watch these videos here at Beyond the 90, either at our website here at beyondthe90.substack.com, our YouTube page, or you can listen to the audio on podcasts either through Apple Podcasts or Spotify. My name is Daniel Feuerstein. Thank you very much for joining me tonight here at Beyond the 90 as we review the CONCACAF Champions Cup quarterfinal matchups of the 2025 edition. Once again, the semifinals are up next, and it should be exciting and a lot of fun. Thank you. Take care. Talk to you next time, and bye-bye for now.